مساء الخير. احنا استكمالا لنفس الجلسة عن استخدامات الأراضي. الجلسة اللي فاتت كانت الجزء الأول من نفس الموضوع، والجلسة دي استكمال لنفس الموضوع في استخدامات الأراضي. في عندنا البرزنتيشن أو العرض المقدم من السيد جمال حميد. احنا أجلناه بس للجلسة دي الاستكمال عشان نقف على ميعاد البريك، فممكن نبدأ بحضرته. ده كان آخر برزنتيشن في الجزء الأول من الجلسة بتاعت استخدامات الأراضي. لو هو معانا على الإنترنت. مش معانا؟ طيب ممكن نبدأ، ولما يدخل معانا السيد جمال يبتدي يعرض. ممكن آلاء تبتدي معانا، مهندسة آلاء.
يس، أنا معاكم. السلام عليكم.
أهلا وسهلا.
Can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes, we can see you. We can see your screen and hear you very well. Welcome, Ala.
Yeah, welcome. Hello. My topic is about the role of urban governance in shaping the resilience.
Can you introduce yourself, please, in the beginning?
Yes. Okay.
Briefly.
Okay. I'm Ala Muhammad Qasim. I graduate in 2014 from Alexandria University, and lead AP, and currently working as an architect in James Cobbett, and working on my Masters of Science in Urban Planning.
طيب لحظة يا آلاء، احنا معانا السيد جمال.
Okay, no problem.
لا أستاذ جمال، حضرتك بس ما كناش عارفين نتواصل فبدأنا بحث، ولا تحب
جدا
تبتدي؟
ما فيش مشكله، تتفضل استاذه باشمهندسه آلاء وبعدين اكمل انا.
طيب تشرفنا بحضرتك أستاذة آلاء، وبعدين حضرتك على طول إن شاء الله. الجلسة دي استكمال للجلسة اللي فاتت. تمام، اتفضلي يا باشمهندسة آلاء. 10 دقايق لو سمحتي بالظبط.
اوكي ان شاء الله.
اتفضلي.
اوكي.
السكرين بس اتقطعت من عندك. شير سكرين لو سمحتي.
كده
اتفضلي. ايوه تمام.
اوكي.
10 دقايق لو سمحتي.
Okay. While the common usage of the term resilience is when you talk about natural disasters or crises or climate change, this topic is moving apart from this emphasis. But instead, resilience here is in response to urban governance and the time factor. Resilience is examined here after urban change, from this to this. And as quoted by Walker and David Salt, processes by which cities overcome their past, even disasters or crises, or even enter, as my emphasis here, enter cycles of development and renewal, may end up by uncertainty for people and places, leading to growth and continuity or decay. Decay is a long process of social discontinuity or gentrification, displacement, or spatial segregation. Upon this, there is a need to evaluate these redevelopment and renewal plans and managing policies. Resilience here is regarded like an ongoing process in response to diverse experiences of change, from minor to major, while the capabilities of still attracting users and adding value through adaptation in order to maintain and remain viable and productive. Resilience attributes concluded from previous studies, which will be used in this study, is flexibility, efficiency, capital building, social and physical connectivity. Throughout these different urban forms, each of them is unique in terms of the way it's managed, the form and the physical buildings, the urban fabrics and the urban fabric and the street networks, the inhabitants. And by this, we will be using a comparative analysis. And each case of them is in itself is changing throughout years. Therefore, a historical analysis will be also used. Actors of urban change, of urban form change, are the form, built environment, which is expressed in built environment, and the activity, where it takes place in the space, and image, with whom people are responsible. Acknowledging the interrelationship between space and people, an activity cannot be studied without people as a factor, and image, the same, cannot be studied without the space. This interrelationship is studied extensively in the socio-spatial configurational studies, which is in which space syntax and spatial justice will be used in my methodologies. Socio-spatial spatial theories and methodologies links society and space and deals with how each of them affect each other. Through spatial behavior patterns, cognition, and perceptions, space syntax and spatial justice will be used as techniques and methodologies to evaluate each of them in terms of parameters, in regards with space syntax, in terms of parameters of connectivity, integration, and choice. While space justice, which is about how the place is controlled by people and imagined and designed in parameters of spatial claim, spatial power, and spatial link. Back to the built environment, which is not only about the physical aspects, but rather in the social and environmental and economic aspects. The physical is about the density and physical adaptations of buildings and street layouts, while the social is about land use and temporal diversity. Environmental is about the public transportation and green areas, and economic about the property values throughout years and in comparison to the surroundings. All of this process is controlled by urban governance. In other ways, is controlled by long-term processes of land use management through land ownership, planning, and financing. Methodology used in my case study will go through these processes. First, observational and comparison through years, through maps, comparison their past and their present, and then data collection as an input phase to trace the change in terms of built environment different aspects and urban governance aspects. Then the analysis phase which will be qualitative in terms of parameters used in spatial justice, like usage, experience, and future. And the quantitative analysis will be the result outcomes from the space syntax in terms of choice, integration, and connectivity. And then finally, the correlation phase between these parameters and measurable parameters and the resilience attributes. And finally, to reach the decision-making as a conclusion. Okay. My case studies are I will be comparing two neighborhoods in Alexandria, Egypt. They are in the central of the city. Sidi Gaber is in the northern edge of the city, while Azbit al-Nuzha is in the southern edge of the city. Both of them are located among crucial streets and important streets where a lot of the developments have been occurring in both neighborhoods. The red spots indicates where the change happened from throughout 20 years, like in Sidi Gaber, from this in the past, and now this through touristic development approach and waterfront expansion, all of these projects. While in Azbit al-Nuzha, which was initially intended to be an industrial district, but now rather it's now a huge investment spot through these diverse projects. starting with comparison in the urban governance related land ownership and planning and financing in both neighborhoods. We see that Sidi Gaber had the long-term ownership, while Azbit al-Nuzha is featured by the urban-scaled projects, which are mainly profit-based. Comparing the the built environment aspects, different aspects, we can see that Sidi Gaber has, in terms of density population, is exceeding Azbit al-Nuzha in many ways, and in the environmental, in terms of public transportation accessibility, also exceeding, while in the economic and the property value, Azbit al-Nuzha is exceeding Sidi Gaber at the lot of projects happening there. A quick look on space syntax methodology through depth map as an application, through the past and present, through the connectivity, and here is the definition. We see that while comparison each case separately from the past and present, we see that a lot of parameters had been increasing from the past and present, while in Nuzha, after development has increased a lot in terms of percentages. Sidi Gaber, from the Sidi Gaber final numerical values are exceeding a lot Azbit al-Nuzha in terms of connectivity and integration and choice. Integration and choice and connectivity here are used in the local and global scale. Global scale in terms of automotive mobility with radius to 25,000 meters, and local is about the pedestrian walkability average meters, which is 800 meters. Yes?
Please take care of time. We still have around 2 minutes.
Okay, I'll finalize quickly. While in spatial justice, throughout comparison of this criteria to conclude the spatial claim, which is about how people use and live throughout the place. So through qualitative comparison, we have this and the power. Quick look. Okay, finally, the data comparison in terms of spatial justice, we found that usage value and experience are exceeding in Sidi Gaber, while the future value especially is exceeding in Nuzha neighborhood. After the correlation with resilience attributes from the previous studies, we found that Sidi Gaber is in terms of flexibility and efficiency is less than Nuzha district, which is about urban scale projects and investments, while Sidi Gaber exceeded in capital building and social and connectivity, social and physical connectivity, which is taking long-term perspectives and planning regulations by authorities. This is a quick comparison, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ala. Is there any questions? Any questions or comments for Ala? No? We have one online. There is a hand raised. Would you please connect us with the raised hand online? Can we take the question later, or we? Nicolo, can we connect? Okay. So we have a question for you, Ala.
Yes.
Yes. Shall we move? Yes. Okay. So we can now, please, we can now move to the next speaker, Mr. Gamal. Mr. Gamal, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay, we are sorry for the delay, but it is الجلسة كلها جلسة واحدة يعني، فاحنا بس رحلنا عشان البريك. أهلا بحضرتك.
Okay. I'm glad to be with you, and I'm going to speak to you today about a new form of housing that is.
Would you please introduce yourself briefly and then take 10 minutes for your presentation? Thank you very much.
Oh my God.
Okay, my name is Jamal Mahmoud Hamid, and I am associate professor at the Faculty of Architecture at the University of Khartoum. I'm going to speak about the hybrid villa apartment as the land-saving housing alternative, case study of Greater Khartoum. First, the context. Sudan ranks a third in the world, in the Arab world, in terms of area and also in terms of population. And it has been experiencing rapid urbanization during the past 3 decades. Its urbanization rate is 4.8% per year, while the population growth rate was 2.4% per year. The percentage of urban population in Sudan grew from 8.8% of the total population in 1956, this is the date of independence, to about 33% in 2018. So about a third of Sudan is now urbanized. Housing consumes about 50% of urban land, and home ownership is very valued in Sudan. It amounts to 80% of the total households own their housing. 65% of urban housing is in the form of single-story houses, which results in massive urban sprawl and wasteful utilization of a valuable finite resource that is land. The present study investigates alternatives to curb massive sprawl and highlights an emerging form of housing that promises to raise housing densities and to preserve land. I speak now about Khartoum. The urban primacy of Greater Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, is evident. Its official 2018 population of 5.8 million people amounted to 43% of Sudan's urban population and to 15% of its total population. 1 of every 7 Sudanese live in Khartoum. Its annual growth rate of 4.8% is double that of Sudan. The strong pull of Khartoum is due to the fact that most of the political power, economic power, educational facilities, and medical institutions are concentrated in it. Greater Khartoum is a city of low density that has been